Annie, what do you think about our discussion? And maybe you might want to add something about Trump applying pressure to Iran again, thank God, and hopefully stopping them from their nuclear weapon narrative and journey.
Well, as you know, I'm a radical when it comes to that. I'm very glad he's starting to put pressure on him, but I think he needs to do way more than that. Way more than that. And here's an example. On January 20th, Prince Pahlavi sent a letter to President Trump and also published it publicly. You can find it on his X account, um, pretty much congratulating President Trump and on a long letter, basically reaching out and saying, you have the opportunity to go above and beyond Abraham Accords and go for Cyrus Accord. And he's referring to Cyrus the Great, freeing the Jews, all that. You have the crown prince of Iran standing by, ready to take power. It's just me. People of Iran are voting for him. He's standing by to take power. I think this is a great opportunity for President Trump to make history as mentioned on that letter. Let's get rid of these mullahs once and for all. The rest will, you know, the whole talk about let's go own Gaza, forget it. Why do we want to go do that? Let's get rid of mullahs. Middle East will come peaceful in matter of months. It's done. Every single one of these alphabet soup of Hamas, Houthis, Hezbollah, ISIS, Taliban, they're gonna disappear because without the mullahs funding them, they can't survive. So
Wow.
that's my very radical take on it.
Thank you, Annie. AJ on Iran and Trump.
Sure. Well, um, the Mullahcracy does fund all those groups, and now some of those groups were funded, before 1979, and that, Jamie, studying the Palestinian Islamic Jihad and Ayman al-Zawahiri and Anwar Sadat's assassination. I mean, that wasn't Iran. What went on with Nasser in Egypt and Gaddafi. I mean, some of these guys were sort of pan-Arabists. They played footsie with the Soviet Union while they fed certain, nonsense to their Bedouin people. But the big Arab states, Saudi and Jordan and Egypt, they seem to be in agreement that the Iranian sort of crescent that goes into Lebanon through southern Iraq and so on, that this is their main problem. I mean, they have more beef with the mullahs than they do the Jews, which is unbelievable considering um, the Old Testament. but it's an interesting thing. Now Gaza, look, I see Gaza as this was a slum. Basically, they allowed this group of people to let's see what you can do with this land. Well, you freaking destroyed it. It is a gigantic dump. I think Ariel Sharon, they backed out of there when, Jamie, like 04 or something.
Yeah, after 2005, 6. Yeah.
Yeah, and they immediately destroyed it. So
Yeah, they even destroyed the Israeli greenhouses that were left for them.
it's a postage stamp. Yes, it could be beautiful. It could be Monaco. It could be South Beach. It absolutely could be that. Um,
But not with Islam involved.
well, right. So here's the next thing. There is a country that exists that has a Palestinian majority in it, and it's not Gaza or the West Bank. That would be, I believe, Jamie, Jordan. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a gigantic group. So, I mean, look, Trump could basically force Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan to take every single member of Gaza.
But they don't want any. They don't want any of them.
Well, he would. I mean, he's going to do to them what Trump would do. Is he would do what he just did to Mexico and Canada.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. We got to wrap up. But Annie, any final thought on what we just said about Gaza and Islam and Jordan and all that?
No, well, I mean, not with the time we have left, but bottom line is somebody's gonna have to take care of them all.
I mean,
Yeah.
there is a deal there, and remember, we're dealing with the deal maker in chief, Annie. There is a way to couple Gaza to the Iranian problem. It might be as simple as I'll remove the mullahs, but you got to take all these Gazan people. Okay, I'm turning Gaza into I'm putting a freaking golf course there on the beach, and I'll get rid of the mullocracy, the wackos, the little Hitlers in Iran. It's as simple as that.
But who do you want him to make the deal with? Who do you want to take the Gazans?
Well, what he says is to Egypt and Jordan and Saudi is you're taking these people.
Yeah, but that's tangibly that's not going to happen. Saudi Arabia is not going to take him.
Well, but I mean, look, Iran tried to kill the Saudi ambassador here in a restaurant. So what he says is, I will handle your Iran problem, but here's my terms. You're taking these people, okay?
Right.
You're taking them.
Well, I would say I agree with the fact that Trump is the master of making deals, but I go back to the roots of 10 years ago when I said, you don't make deal with these people. Jordan, Kuwait, Dubai, Bahrain, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, any of them, the 50 Islamic countries, you just don't make deal with them. You don't.
Yeah.
You give them no option except do what needs to be done. Look what just happened with the Hamas deal. It was a disaster. You can't make a deal. It's making a deal with the devil. I don't know. I don't think he can do it. Not permanently.
Well, I mean, look, they have a long history of bad behavior, beginning in 622. So I agree with you.
Yeah. And maybe we mean deal if the deal means just no options and force. As we know, the whole tragedy involved here is, despite the accusations against people like us, we care about all civilians, including Muslim people and Muslim children. We cry for everybody. The tragedy is that in the Gaza Strip, as in many places in the Islamic world, when you start teaching kids from the age of 3, 4 that you need to kill the infidel and kill the Jew and kill the Christian, we're dealing with a very serious problem.